Film and Page. I'm Dominic, and in this video we'll be taking a look at the book The Art of Racing in the Rain, originally published in 2008 by HarperCollins, written by Garth Stein, clocking in at 338 pages. No physical book for this one, as this was a digital copy. Denny Swift is a race car driver who works at a Seattle BMW dealership. He is hoping to make it big someday in professional car racing. His best friend in the world is his dog Enzo, who loves to watch videos of Denny's old races and listen to Denny explain how to race in the rain. However, one day both their worlds undergo some big changes when Denny meets and falls in love with Eve. They get married and have a daughter together named Zoe. Everything is going good for their new family until an unexpected tragedy strikes. Now, Denny will need all the help he can get, and Enzo will be there to give it to him. You see, Enzo is no ordinary dog. He feels more human most of the time than dog. Enzo knows that if he prepares himself enough, that when he dies, he will come back reincarnated as a man. Have you ever come across a book that really tweaked your interest, and you almost picked it up at the time? However, some little voice in the back of your head said, it's not time to read this book yet. So this is a book that I've had on my radar for years and years. I remember first seeing it at my local bookstore well over a decade ago. I didn't buy it then, but the story was interesting enough that I filed it away in the back of my mind. Until finally this past year when my girlfriend and I went on a cruise for our vacation. Now this might seem boring to some people, but one of my favorite things to do when I'm on vacation is to lay back with a drink and read a good book. So before I left on this trip, I decided to buy some ebooks for my Kindle, two of which were The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and The Art of Racing in the Rain. Then while I laid on the deck of the cruise ship, it hit me. Now is the time to read The Art of Racing in the Rain. Finally having gotten around to reading this book, I have to say I absolutely loved it and blew through it in a couple of days. One of the things I really liked about this book was the whole story is written from the dog's point of view. What this does is sometimes certain character motivations or events are obscured from the reader, so you'll have to fill in some of the blanks for yourself. For example, there is this courtroom scene we don't get to see, because Enzo is a dog and not allowed in the courtroom. How the author plays out this scene for us is the dog imagines the scene in his head, and it comes off as quite humorous. Speaking of another thing I really liked about this book is that it has a lot of humor in it, and it had me laughing quite a few times. Even though the story is told through Enzo's eyes, the protagonist of the story is Enzo's owner, Denny Swift. Swift being the last name of a race car driver made me chuckle, who is a pretty relatable character and likable, who really deeply loves and cares about Enzo. They are best friends, and the author does a great job of showing the bond between them. Now, this whole idea of the story being told through the dog's eyes did have one area in the story where I don't think it was pulled off that great, and that is with the character of Eve. There is some off-the-page traumatic event from Eve's past that is never made clear. This is informing her current actions in the story, which come off as self-centered and almost stupid. It causes a lot of pain and misery for the other characters. This makes Eve a somewhat unlikable character, since we can't really find out what is motivating these decisions. If I had to pick a dislike for this book, this would be it. Now on to some of the other characters. Eve's parents, Maxwell and Trish, are the antagonists of the book, especially Maxwell. They hate Denny because of his blue-collar background and do not think he is good enough for their daughter. Maxwell is written as an overbearing, controlling snob, and his wife is very similar, but she has a lining of good in her. The idea of disapproving rich snob parents isn't a new one in stories by any stretch. I've seen it a lot in TV shows, movies, and other books. Stephen King's Pet Sematary comes to mind. The author does a great job of making Maxwell truly unlikable. This book in some ways reminds me of Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman, in that it is a book that has a motivational layer to it, as racing a car is used as an allegory for life itself, and how you should never give up. It also dips into the psychology of the dark sides of a person, which is sometimes called the shadow self. The zebra that Enzo sees is used as a representation of this, in my opinion anyway. This story has strong themes of family along with friendship, and how deep those bonds can go. It also has a bit of a spiritual layer to it as well. It sounds cheesy, but I've always enjoyed these types of books. I've always found them to be uplifting to read. I think that this book might just turn out to be one of the best books I've read this year. I absolutely loved it. So if you want to read something that will make you laugh, cry, and leave you feeling uplifted, then this just might be the book for you. And that's everything I have to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I will see you at the next one. I'd like to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I appreciate you all in helping this channel grow. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded.